Hello. Hello, and welcome to why I think you should be paying for Xbox Games Pass. Throughout this video, I'm going to go over all things Games Pass. We're going to go over what it is, what it isn't, how much it costs, why it's great, maybe why you wouldn't pay for it, why you would pay for it, and at the end, I'm going to throw in just a little sprinkle of my top 3 favorite games on there right now that I think you should be playing. I think this video is going to be for you if you are somebody who plays a lot of video games and is curious about Games Pass, somebody who is looking to play more video games and not spend a bunch of money. If you are a parent looking into Games Pass, possibly for your kids. If you're somebody who wants Games Pass and is trying to convince your guardian to buy that for them, this would be the video to show them. So what is Games Pass, you ask? Well, Games Pass is a subscription-based service that allows you to play a bunch of games on PC and Xbox. Kind of. There's an asterisk there. We're going to go over it. But I want to iterate here that this is not a cloud service. There are a couple cloud services on the market right now, Google Stadia, and I believe PlayStation Now. That PlayStation Now deserves its own video maybe another time, but I'm pretty sure that's a cloud service. Now, a cloud service means it's like Netflix, right? So all of these games and all their data is stored on a server that is not in your home. They are downloaded on their servers or whatever, and you stream them like Netflix. You just press play, and they're played over there. All the hardware is handled on their servers, and then it is streamed to your thing. Now, cloud services so far have not worked very well. Stadia was a dud. It just doesn't work. Xbox Games Pass is not a cloud service. This needs to be big red letters on the screen. This is not a cloud service. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can move on. There are tons of games that are available on Games Pass that you have to download locally. You have to download them, and then you can play them. It's just like downloading a game on Steam and then playing it on Steam. You do have to do it through their software, their Xbox thing or whatever. And if you're on console, obviously that you do it on console. But if you're on PC, you do it through the Xbox app, whatever. But there are over 100 games on Games Pass right now, and there will be probably more in the future. But I imagine it'll stay in that range of 100 to 200 games for a good amount of time. So with Xbox Games Pass, you in its simplest form, you pay money monthly, right? You have access to all of these games. You click download and you can play them while they're on Games Pass. Now, games do leave Game Pass. And this is something we'll talk about more in depth later and what that means and if that's really a big deterrent as to why you shouldn't pay for them. But that in its purest form, that is what Xbox Games Pass is. There's tons of possibilities of games to play. You can play them on your Xbox and also your PC. Let's move on from what Games Pass is. We've figured it out. We're moving on. So the next thing I want to talk about is the different tiers of Games Pass. Now there are a few different tiers, and this is slightly complicated, but I'm gonna pull up their thing right here, and we're gonna look at this. So there are 3 tiers. You can pay for console Games Pass, you can pay for PC Games Pass, or you can pay for Games Pass Ultimate. So there are 3 tiers. Console is $10 a month, and it means you can only use Games Pass on your Xbox console, whether that be an Xbox One, an Xbox One S, an Xbox One X, an Xbox Series X, an Xbox Series S, whatever. It doesn't matter what you have. The console will allow you to download games on your console. Now you can just pay for PC as well. So PC is also $10 a month, but it allows you the same catalog of games that you can play on your PC. And then there's Ultimate, which Ultimate is what I use, but I have a PC and a console. Now, Ultimate gets a little complicated. There's a lot of things here that are included with Ultimate. So, you get PC and console when you pay for Games Pass Ultimate, and Games Pass Ultimate is $15 a month. So it's $5 more than PC or console, but it allows you to do it on Xbox and PC. Now, if you only have one of those things, PC or console, I would consider getting the single one, possibly. But Xbox Games Pass Ultimate also comes with some other stuff included. So it says here there are some exclusive member discounts and deals, where this just says member discounts and deals. So I'm guessing there are some better exclusive member discounts, so some different ones to the other ones. You get perks here, and we'll go over the perks in a minute. They do change. Also, Games Pass Ultimate allows you to play games on your Android mobile phone and tablet from the cloud. This is something we'll talk about later. I don't think it's very good, but it is a little bit of fun, and I'll link you to a video that covers this well. Games Pass Ultimate also includes Xbox Live Gold. Gold is a $10 a month value. Now, I would imagine if you are playing games on your Xbox and you play with friends at all, if you play anything online, I would guess you are already paying for gold. So for $10 a month, you're already paying for gold. If that's so, there's definitely no reason you shouldn't be paying for Games Pass. This gives you so much more with only $5 more a month. It's so cheap. I would not pay for gold and then get like PC or console. Now, if you don't already pay for gold, Xbox Live Gold allows you to play multiplayer on console. So if you're on PC, it probably does not really matter to you. If you're a PC gamer, I would recommend probably just getting the PC Games Pass. But it also includes deals with gold and games with gold. So gold members get discounts to games, and also every month there are free games available through Xbox Gold, Xbox Live Gold, whatever. And it also comes with EA Play. Now, EA Play is an entirely separate subscription service that is EA's games, like the EA Sports games, FIFA, NHL, Madden are all on there. Anthem is on there, Jedi Fallen Order. It's just even more games that you can play on top of Xbox Games Pass. So now we've been through the tiers. It's a little confusing. I would recommend, if you're still confused, I'll put a link down in the description that takes you straight to the tiers list, and you can look at these yourself, but I hope I explained it well. All right. Now, I want to talk about why you should be paying for Xbox Games Pass, whatever tier that is, PC, Xbox, Ultimate. The first thing is the sign-up bonus. So the sign-up bonus exists for PC and for Ultimate. For PC, you get 1 month for $1. For Ultimate, you get 3 months for $1. Now, this is a bargain. If you are on the fence about Games Pass and you have never had it before, you can sign up for 3 months for $1. Now, these 3 months will prove if you want to keep paying for it or not. This means that you don't have to pay $15 for your first 3 months. It only costs you $1 to try this out. That's how confident Xbox is in this system. They are giving you 3 months essentially for free. They're saying, hey, if you pay for $1 for 3 months, you will keep paying for us because this service is so good. I think my next reason for Xbox Games Pass is for kids. If you are a parent looking to get your kids something and you don't maybe know what video games are new and you don't want to keep up with it, you don't want to ask your kids if it's going to be a Christmas present or whatever. If you want an excuse to stop buying $60 video games and pay $15 a month, throw Games Pass on their desk and be like, hey kids, check out these hundreds of games. And next time they ask you for a AAA game, say, ha, I already pay for Xbox Games Pass. There's tons of games on there you can play. They will never run out of games because games come and go. There's new games all the time, and the old games leave. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that, okay? I want to address the price for sure. So it's $15 a month after your first 3 months of $1, which is not that's not $3. That's $1 for 3 months. Let's say you pay $15 a month for Games Pass Ultimate. That's the max. If you only have one of the other ones, you're only paying $10 a month. Games Pass Ultimate for 12 months is $180. That's the price of 3 AAA game titles at $60. If you buy less than 3 AAA game titles a year, if you only buy 1 to 2 AAA game titles per year, maybe Games Pass is too much money to validate it. If you buy any more than 2 games, I would highly recommend Games Pass for the price, $180 per year for Ultimate. That's just Ultimate. It'd be $120 for either of the other ones. I think that is a screaming deal. That is so little money per year for an insane amount of games. Chances are those titles that you're paying for, those three titles a year, possibly one of them is going to be on Games Pass or more. Possibly all three of them could be on Games Pass, especially if you're an Xbox gamer. Those AAA titles might come with Games Pass, like Halo Infinite. So any game that Xbox makes, or any studio that they own that is making games, will be available on Games Pass day one. That means the day they are released for $60 on the market, you can play it on Games Pass for no extra charge. That's insane. That's insane. Every game that Xbox showed at their showcase this year is Xbox Games Pass day one. $15 a month gets you access to those games the day they come out. That's amazing. That's amazing. Plus, there's all these other games. Let's say you do only play 2 to 3 games per year. Maybe they're on Games Pass, maybe they're not. You're paying for Games Pass. You're getting AAA releases the day they come out, some of them. There's tons of other games on Games Pass. There's so many good indie game titles on there that I would so highly recommend. I love indie games, but that's a topic for a different video. But it really will broaden your horizons of the gaming medium, the art medium that is video games. You will have access to tons of games that you possibly wouldn't otherwise buy. You might see a game on there and be like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I'll download it. Bam, play it within an hour without having to spend, $15 to $60 for that video game. Awesome. Incredible. Especially for, kids who are looking for video games to play, and they are draining their parents' bank accounts on these games. You can just have access to so many games. And there's lots of multiplayer games on there that if their friends have Games Pass, they can play together. It's awesome. I love Games Pass. Truly, I think it's the best thing in gaming right now. If you have a PC and an Xbox and you play games on both of those, I couldn't recommend Games Pass more. You can play games on your PC and your Xbox for no extra charge for both. You could download the same game on both of them and no extra charge. Bam. If you were a PC and Xbox gamer who wanted to play an indie game or a AAA game on their PC and their Xbox, they would have to buy that game twice. That's up to $120 of game that you get for your subscription fee that you could download on both titles. And they also have something called Play Anywhere. Now, Play Anywhere is not available with every game. It's a limited number of games that are on Play Anywhere. But Play Anywhere means that your saves transfer. So you could pick up your Xbox controller and play your game on your couch, move to your computer, and pick up right where you left off. That's also very cool, and I hope they implement that in more games in the future. Now, there are some perks that come with Games Pass Ultimate. I do not believe perks come with the other two. The perks aren't that great, but they do. It's something. I believe there's Disney Plus. You can get a month of Disney Plus for free, which means you can stream the entire Mandalorian season in a month and cancel your Disney Plus subscription after that. It also comes with 3 months of Discord Nitro for free, which is pretty cool, and then some other in-game loot for certain games. You also get discounts on games that are not on Games Pass that you would be buying otherwise, which is also great. It's going to save you money elsewhere, which is really cool. I believe there is also a system in place in which if you per se play a game on Games Pass for a long time and they announce that it is no longer going to be on Games Pass, I believe they will offer it to you at a discounted price so you can continue playing it after it leaves Games Pass. But they will warn you before that so you could finish the game beforehand. So, in short, here are my reasons for why you should be paying for Games Pass. You got a sign-up bonus. It's great for kids. If you have a PC and Xbox, you got Play Anywhere. You don't have to buy video games twice, and it offers you so many video games for both consoles. There are tons of games on Games Pass that you only pay for $15 per month, and if it's your first time signing up, you get the sign-up bonus of the $1 for 3 months. Amazing. And there's tons of titles on there that you wouldn't pay for otherwise that you would be able to play on a whim. It's a great price for what you're getting. You got Xbox exclusives day one launch on Xbox Games Pass. It's great. It's great. But my biggest one here, and this one I feel strongly about. I got some stats for you, boys. One of the big reasons I feel that you should be paying for Games Pass. I personally believe Xbox Games Pass and subscription services are the future of gaming. And I feel it would be ignorant of me to not believe that. with Xbox Games Pass here, the value you get for $15 a month is through the roof. Now, I want to throw some stats out for you here. So if this could get a little number heavy. Ready? So streaming services have taken over all forms of entertainment, essentially. And I'm surprised that it hasn't taken over the gaming industry yet. And I think it's going that direction. So we could look at Netflix, right? Before Netflix existed, you would buy your movies, hard disk, whatever. Now you can stream movies like crazy. So Netflix, the net income of 2019 was $1.86 billion. That's a lot of money. What I feel is important here is the comparison to the net income in 2012 was $17.15 million. Now that's only a 7-year difference. In 7 years, Netflix went from 17 million to 1.86 billion net income per year. That's insane. It exploded. Streaming services completely changed the TV and movie landscape. And this is just Netflix. This is not to mention, I'm not even mentioning the numbers for Hulu, Amazon Video, HBO, and all the newer ones like Disney Plus, Warner Media, NBC, etc. And this is just movies and television. This is insane. It completely changed the world. And then music as well. Spotify, the global number of paid music subscription services is 341 million. Their music streaming revenue in 2019 was 11.4 billion. In 10 years, it exploded 28 times as much, which, I mean, it's all relative, right? If that was a minuscule number, it'd be still minuscule if you multiplied it by 28, but whatever. The global music revenue from streaming is 42% of all music revenue. 42%. Half of music revenue in the world is from a little bit less than half, but it's from streaming services. And I would imagine that this includes hard media like CDs, vinyl, merch, clothes, and such, and concert tickets. 25% of 18 to 34-year-olds in the US use Spotify. Now, it would be foolish of you to think that streaming services for music and television and movies are not dominating the game and are not the future of those things. I think they already are the future. It's not even the future anymore. They're the thing now. That's the standard. Now, I'm not making these stats up. I will link all of my sources and things in the description, and I'm sure as I've been talking about this, I've been putting stats up on the screen and graphs and such to show you just how real this is. For example, the baseball team, the Mets, the New York Mets, were just sold to a new buyer for $2.475 billion. Now, that's a lot of money. But in comparison, the video game company Bethesda ZeniMax Media was just sold to Microsoft for $7.5 billion. Now, that's like 3 times as big as the Mets baseball team. And when I say the Mets baseball team, I'm talking stadium tickets. Think about how many people go there every game to see those games. Bethesda was a 3 times bigger sale, and they only make a few video games. This isn't like Microsoft was sold. Like this company only makes a few games, and it was sold for $7.5 billion. Now, those games are huge games, but this is crazy. There's a crazy stat here, and this is the 2016 global revenues. For music was $16 billion, for film was $49 billion, and for video games, it was $101 billion. That's twice as big as Hollywood. And I feel like video games don't get, the hype and the coverage that these other things do, which is insane. There are millions of people playing these games and pumping money into these things, and it hardly gets talked about at all. I guess my final point is that I feel that video game streaming services like Xbox Games Pass are the future, because if you look at the TV and music industry, streaming has dominated those with Netflix and Spotify. And I think looking forward, Games Pass and things like Games Pass are going to be the standard. Now, let's talk a little bit about why you wouldn't pay for Games Pass. I wouldn't pay for Games Pass if I was exclusively a PlayStation gamer. I mean, you're probably not even watching this video if you only play on PlayStation. If you don't play enough games to validate the price, or you're not interested in any of the titles that are on Games Pass, that's possible. If you're only playing 1 to 2 games per year and they're not on Games Pass, I would understand why you wouldn't want to pay for it. But I would encourage you to try the $1 tier if you have an Xbox or a PC and you're playing on those things for the 3 months, and just try out some new games. check them out for $1. It's fantastic. And if you don't like the service after that, cancel it. I think Microsoft themselves would agree with that statement. One argument I expect to hear in opposition of Games Pass is that you don't own the games, and now that's true. You can only play these games while they're on Games Pass. But my counter argument to that would be that if you're saying that in support of hard copies are long outdated by now. That I don't even think that argument is valid because everyone buys video games digitally now. You could look at music and TV. Streaming is not going anywhere. It's the future. I think if you don't hop on the train now and experience how great it is, you're going to be behind the curve in the future. If you think that Games Pass is a bad deal because you don't own the games and you are buying tons of games per year, tons of games that are on Games Pass, you're just throwing money away. You're paying so much more for these games than you would be if you just paid for Games Pass, especially with that $1 for 3 months tier. Maybe your argument is that you're going to play games longer than they're on Games Pass, like 100 plus hours, more than that, whatever, to completion and replaying these games over and over and over again. And if that's the case, if you're putting that much time into the game, I would highly recommend just supporting the developer of that video game you like a lot and just buying the game after it's off of Games Pass, and they give you discounts anyway. There is an argument there, but I don't think it's valid. People say the same thing about music, in that I don't want to pay $10 a month or $5 a month, whatever Spotify is, because they don't own the music. But is that really valid anymore? Like, you pay a tiny amount of money and you get to experience so much music for so little cost. It's not owning them. I just don't feel is a valid argument at this point. All right, now the long-awaited TWreckx top 3 Games Pass picks. Now, if you know anything about me, I would probably just pick 3 fairly niche indie games and tell you to play those, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to tell you to play the 3 most popular games on Games Pass. I'm not going to pick that list. I'm going to pick 3 games from 3 different genres that I think you will enjoy and that I personally enjoy and think are worth the $1 price for 3 months as is. My honorable mention will be Enter the Gungeon. I love Enter the Gungeon to death. It's one of my favorite video games, but if you're on this channel, you probably already know that, and you probably have my recommendation for Enter the Gungeon already. It's a fantastic game. Give it a try, but I don't want this to take up one of my 3 slots because it's a cop-out for me because I love that game so much. Okay, for pick number 1, this is in the shooter category. I would recommend Void Bastards. This game is really cool. It's got some really cool art. It's got very cool mechanics. It's very fun. I love it. It's funny. It kind of gives Borderlands vibes, but in a roguelike package. It's very good. Check this game out. My next pick is in the action and adventure category. It is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. If you have not played this game, I highly recommend playing this game, and I highly recommend playing this game in one sitting with headphones on. It is beautiful. It's well written. It's beautifully acted. It's so cool what they do with the mechanics. I've never seen these things done in video games before. It is so personal and in your head, and it's just so cool. It's scary. It's heartbreaking. Please play this game. A very brief summary is that the main character, Senua, has voices in her head that she hears, and when you put headphones on, you can also hear them. It's I mean, you can hear them without the headphones on too, but the experience is just much more personal when you have the headphones on. It's so great. Hellblade is an experience that I think every gamer should experience, and with Games Pass, it makes it that much easier because you don't have to take the plunge and buy the game that you otherwise possibly wouldn't have bought. And my third and final pick comes from the strategy category. There are so many games that I would so highly recommend playing, but I would feel very poorly if I did not recommend this game to you. And that third game is going to be Slay the Spire. It's a little biased because you know I love indie games and you know I love roguelikes, but Slay the Spire is so well polished. It's so good. It is a card game. It's a card game roguelike deck builder where you start out with a character, and as you play the game, you get more cards in your deck. And every run, you get different cards, and you can do different builds, and it's so good. I feel that Slay the Spire is a masterclass in balanced and polished game making. The visuals aren't anything to really get that excited about, but the way the cards all work together and they all build different decks without getting too overpowered or too underpowered, It's so well polished, and you have a great run every time, and it's so fun every time you play this game. And the decision making is just so clean. The game mechanics in this game are so well crafted that they hold up everything about it. Please play Slay the Spire. At least give it a shot. And there are so many games that I would so highly recommend you play. Check out all the games by category. Look at the games. There's so many games on Games Pass for such an affordable price for anybody who plays just a minimum amount of games. It's such a good deal. Please subscribe to Games Pass. It's the future. There's so many great games on there right now. It's very affordable. If you were thinking about getting it for someone else, please get it for someone else. If you were thinking about getting it for yourself, please get it for yourself. If you haven't tried it yet, go for that $1 for 3 months tier. Check out all the games. It's so great. I can't recommend it enough. Now, I also want to announce that on the channel we're going to be doing something called that I'm calling the Games Pass Spotlight. We're going to go through and just do a quick look at of other games that are also on Games Pass. So if you want to check that out, click the subscribe button. They're going to be coming out every week because I love Games Pass so much. Thank you.